Good afternoon, Alex. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you, Will. How are you?
Very good. It's been an interesting last couple of weeks. But thank you for joining us on Proper Tea with OBI. Alex is a good mate of mine. We go back to being at university together. So thanks for coming on. How have you been over the last 2 or 3 weeks?
Mixed bag really. Interesting times. Never seen anything like it. But using it as an opportunity to, I guess, do different things and see more of the kids. Ultimately, we've just about managed to get through the 2 weeks of homeschooling, and now we can get on with doing some work as long as they can entertain themselves for a few hours each day.
Yeah, I believe you're a very strict father and have been pressing them to work each day.
Yeah, we've not done too bad actually. 2 girls have been quite well disciplined, and they realised it was still school. But once my son Alfie realised that it's still schoolwork, so he has to actually do 9 till 3 each day. He's all right. And then other than that, we've made sure we do the Joe Wicks PE every morning at 9 a.m. just to keep them fit.
Well, it looks like you've grown a very good beard. Anyway.
Yeah, trying. It's a few weeks growth now. The hair's out of control as well. So first thing we'll do is have a haircut when we come out of this.
So how has it impacted PAG?
I think it's hard to tell the full impacts for now. Probably not going to know for a few months. Obviously, timing of it meant that the first week we were in lockdown coincided with the quarter date. So we spoke to a lot of our tenants to see how they're getting on and see various ways in which we can help them. But we've been quite fortunate with the rents. We received about 75% of the quarter's rent. We're still in discussions with a few other people. And yeah, just got to keep monitoring really and see how everyone fares over the next quarter. So that's in the rents. In terms of new opportunities, anything that we were looking at, we're still keen to progress with. I think the reality is it won't happen until things have got back to some form of normality. Don't know what that looks like yet. But yeah, there's 4 or 5 opportunities that we were looking at. I think they'll still be there when we come out of it. And if anything, the team are fully prepared for the inevitable increase in other opportunities that might not have been there before this.
And have you been working closely with your existing tenants?
Yeah, I think what we've done, we've basically, as you know, through how we work, we're very hands-on and speak regularly with our tenants anyway. And so the day-to-day contact, whoever they have been speaking regularly. Me, Rob and Ella, who you know well, have been in regular dialogue with them. And I think that's not much different to what was there previously. But then if anything, we'll probably speak to them a bit more now for the coming months.
In terms of you communicating with your own team, how have you been doing that? How have you reacted? Because I can't imagine your dad sort of getting his webcam up.
Well, you'd be surprised actually. He spent the first 2 weeks still doing it the old-fashioned way with a con call or some kind of background disrupting call. So we managed to actually get him an iPad last week. Hooked him up on Zoom, so we've had 2 or 3 Zoom calls with him on now. So he's actually learned for the first time ever how to use a bit of technology, which is good. But in terms of the rest of the team, I quite enjoy it really. It feels a bit more personable in terms of with where we can avoid just phone calls. We've done it on Zoom or Teams. We're speaking as a wider team more regularly. The whole office is set up on Slack. Which is like an instant messaging scheme.
What's it like, that Slack?
I think it's quite good for real-time questions. It pops up when we've got separate teams on there and then the overall alliance one. It just keeps people speaking regularly. Most of it's work, but then obviously imagine the same at OBI, quite a bit of mickey taking out of each other goes on as well. So that's been really good. And then the Zoom, we speak every other morning as a wider development and transactions team. And then we've kept up. We have a PAG lunch every Tuesday anyway, so we've kept that up, and we just had that a couple of hours ago, and just literally sit there and chat through what various people have been dealing with. But it's been quite positive.
Are you of the opinion that this is going to change the way we work. You know, we're pretty similar. We like to, you know, be out and about and meet up with people. So it's quite odd for us. But do you think we will have more of this type of communication?
Yeah, I don't know. I've taken two different arguments to it. I know initially everyone was saying this is going to mean that everyone's going to realise how easy it is to work from home, so they're going to take less office space. The other flip side to that argument is people realise how much of a nightmare it could be working at home. So I think it depends on the individual. I think the reality is meeting is always the best form of getting anything done. So having office space and whatnot, who knows? I don't think we know the answer yet.
So obviously you've got your wife Vicky, who's always very busy. So what is the family routine? So are you and Vicky working in separate areas? Are you getting on? The kids aren't driving you too mad?
Yeah, we're getting on very well actually, so that's positive. Each day's been different, really. You've got to judge it on what meetings are on. You quite rightly point out Vicky's incredibly busy herself, so we're trying to be in different rooms when we're on Zoom calls or Teams. In terms of when Alfie was working, he pretty much needed to sit next to me to do his schoolwork to make sure it gets done. And then any video calls would be made in a separate room. But yeah, a few minor hiccups when the kids come running in the background and throw a football or something. But I think everyone's got to expect a bit of that in the background, haven't they?
Yeah, my lad's currently stood on top of the shed roof shouting to his mate about 3 houses away. So yeah,
that's what the blinds are shut.
Yeah. Why? What have you missed most about being, you know, away from normality?
I think freedom to go and do whatever you want is the biggest thing. But generally, in terms of the office, I miss being around people really, and you know, seeing the team and bouncing ideas off people. And we were in a positive position, weren't we? You know, with all these excuses to not get stuff done for the last 2 or 3 years, come out of the election and Brexit, and suddenly everyone was geared up, fired up, and ready to go. And then now we've got this. That's another hurdle to get over.
And in terms of opportunities that will come out of it, do you think, have you got a number of ideas as to, okay, there's always buildings to buy, but are there sort of more definitive business plans you think you could exploit and move into?
Yeah, definitely. Really, a lot of the transaction team, before we went into lockdown, we had a couple of strategy meetings where we already sort of tabled some opportunities that wouldn't have been there before that might be now. Obviously, there was a change in the planning in terms of brownfield sites and also PD rights on office buildings. So we'd already sort of set a plan out for people to actually spend the time that you wouldn't normally get, you know, using what you have in front of you at home in terms of landing site, websites, to actually do some research so that then you're geared up to get back in the car and have a look at these opportunities when we get back out.
And for those that might not know you as well as some others, do you want to just tell us a story about when you nearly became a Formula One racing driver?
Nowhere near nearly, but I'm worried where you were going to go with the questioning then. I did a bit of racing, obviously, throughout school. Did go-karting, British and European championships. So that took up quite a lot of my time. And then I had a year out where I attempted to be a racing driver by living in Italy for a year and raced the Formula Renault Championship. It was a good, fun year out, but quite a lot of hard work. Involved getting to a very light weight. I think I was down to 76 kilos by the time I had to race, which wasn't comfortable. Not eating very much and exercising for 3-4 hours a day, to only race probably once every month really. But yeah, the racing was absolutely fantastic. I probably did better than I thought I would do, for the simple reason I didn't see it as a future career. I knew I wasn't good enough. And then I came home and got serious, and fortunately Peter Gallagher at Dunlop Hayward at the time gave me a job, and it also gave a year's break from having spent 3 years at university with you.
Yeah, but you put in a lot of effort, to be fair to you, in that. You do yourself down. There was lots of hours and hard graft, wasn't there, involved in through your childhood doing that?
Yeah, certainly in the go-karting, it was pretty much every weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, testing on the first 2 days, and then the race would be on the Sunday. And yeah, in terms of family commitment, obviously I've been with Vicky for a very long time, so she spent a lot of her weekends in an awning and a chucking it down racetrack. So she was quite happy when I stopped racing.
I've got 5 very quick questions to finish. So quick fire. What's your favourite holiday?
Skiing.
Whereabouts?
Anywhere really, skiing with the family, or I like going to Canada as well with my mates.
Most interesting real estate project you've worked on?
Probably Trident at Manchester Airport, because it was my first one that I bought when I was at Property Lines.
What's your favourite deal? But you can't say that again.
I think probably, if I can't say Trident, probably buying Piccadilly Place with Aries, and then seeing what we've done ever since.
What's your views on this football season?
It's really challenging thought process, because obviously quite happy that the season got stopped because it prevents Liverpool winning the title. But United were on the rise, and I thought we were going to get a top 4 place. So I'm in two minds whether I want it to finish or stop where it is, to be honest.
And when we come out the other side, what's the first thing you're going to do?
First thing I'm going to do, buy another office building.
Not go and see your mum?
Work-wise, you're going to finally buy the building, and then I'll probably go to the pub.
Yeah, okay, well, I'll see you down there. Listen, mate, thanks very much for your time. Much appreciated.
Cheers.